Good morning, Sunny.
Good morning, Wendy.
We are back today. This is Money with Sunny. And a couple of weeks ago, we had an epic chat about mindset, values, beliefs, thoughts. And we thought we'd kind of take it to a part two to talk about the importance of goal setting and taking action. Because you can think all day long and think. But if you don't do anything, if you don't take action, everything's just going to stay the same. So I'll hand it over to you, Sunny. What do you think? How important are goals? Should people set goals?
hmm hmm I get so conflicted when it comes to the word goals because, first of all, in the financial planning space, the first thing we do when we meet with a client is ask them, what are your top three financial goals? I got to know because that's going to be your roadmap. Your goals are your whole roadmap of how I put your plan together and reaching those goals. If I don't know your goals, I really can't put a good plan together for you. There's just so personal. Everyone's goals are different and yet the same. It's so strange how this works. Yes, we all want to retire. Yes, perhaps we all want a vacation or renovate or whatnot. So we look at these goals and then we gear this whole plan towards touching them, how to plan for them and how to reach them. And then how you can, continue and project out your whole life. So that's the one hand of what I think, or how I work with goals all the time. But I get conflicted because goals get uprooted all the time,
Hmm.
and you pivot all the time with these goals. So, we'll do these plans, and then this changed, and that changed, and my life changed. And there's something I don't really love doing are formal plans for people who are too young, because I know that their life will change 5 times over at least in the span pre-retirement. And so we'll do kind of maybe some rough edges, some loose guidelines, some sort of planning. But life is going to be life and it's going to change. So if you're too hard set on a certain goal, I don't want you to be too upset when things are going to change. That's often then I have clients that I'm facing that all their goals have been yanked out from underneath them and they're just devastated and then kind of give up a little and don't pick themselves up and change their goals or reframe it. So we talk about goals a lot, but it is so also tied into your mindset of don't get stuck in that negative narrative telling you that, well, all my goals are gone, forget it. I'm just going to flounder around financially. Doesn't matter, ho hum, woe is me. So it's about being able to change that mindset, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, find new goals that are just your own, and move forward and change them. So I get so torn when it comes to goals. They're important to making them happen. They're important to living the lifestyle you want, but you have to be flexible.
Yeah, perfect. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking they are important so that you can have somewhere to head towards, but you need to be flexible and compassionate with yourself at the same time when things change, and things do change. Stuff does happen. So we're speaking to primarily women here transitioning through divorce. All of their goals, their dreams, their money goals have changed. Now they may be have never been involved with the money, or involved a little bit, or maybe they have handled all of the money and the finances throughout their marriage. People are coming from different places, but the same is true for all of our people here. Their goals do need to change. So if I came to you transitioning through divorce, Sunny, and had to kind of come up with 3 to 5 buckets, goals and buckets and areas that I should be considering, that are important to me, that should be important to me, my future, my family, what would they be?
Well, I guess the first thing I do is what do we know to be true today? Because oftentimes women who are going through the separation divorce process are what I call in transition. You aren't sure how you're going to land at the end of this. And painting that picture could paint 1,000 pictures. You could end up with the kids half the time, with the kids all the time, in the house, out of the house. And with money, without money. So what do we know to be true today? And so we start short term. Let's just work on a short term goal basis, which is like this year, say, this cycle, because then there's still the other thing, the big unknown is the cost. I know there is always a massive cost in the separation divorce process, be it legal fees, the division of assets. It's never fair for anybody. I always see it being very expensive. And it's not a reason to stay together because it's expensive. It's just, okay, let's plan for, and you can't even ask the lawyer, how much are you going to cost? They don't know. They don't know how often they're going to go back and forth. So to do anything longer than the year outlook gets tricky. So we look at, what do you want to accomplish today? And a lot of them will just say, I just need to stop the bleed. Okay. First of all, the lawyer is out of your cash flow. You can't afford that. Let's put that over here on some debt. And that is going to be just happening. And we're going to all be okay with that. And when it's done, we'll deal with it then. We can't deal with this now when, frankly, lawyers are just unaffordable to the average income earner. So it's a cost of the process. And then we have to just say, this is the price I'm going to have to pay to get where I want to be. You will come out the other side. We will create a plan when it's done and we know where you land, but just being okay with the tumultuous time you're going to be riding through.
So the first bucket would be just kind of taking a look at where you are right now and seeing, maybe looking at what you need to spend right now. You just have to kind of get through the next 6 months. And then after that, we start to look at long-term plans. Once the dust has settled, you know what money's coming in, you know what money's going out, and then you can work towards some new long-term financial goals. Is that what I'm hearing?
100%. You're already in a massive shift where you went from dual income to one income. That's a huge shift right there. Let's just deal with that. And let's get your household updated to what does it cost to live on one income. And if your kids are younger and you're still, you're going to be floating those expenses until it's all separated, or you could be, depending. But you're still signing them up for their lessons and taking them to camp. And so what does this look like for you? And let's do that so that your bucket is really going to be bucket one.
Bucket
Bucket,
one.
like you said.
Yeah. And, we don't know exactly what your financial situation is. Everybody's financial situation is different. But for all of us, whether we have a little money, a medium amount of money, or a lot of money, if we haven't, been involved in the finances, maybe we've been involved in our work, raising the kids, driving the kids around, and less interested in the finances. That's typically what I see when I'm working with women. Regardless of your financial status, it's important now for you to take control and learn this money stuff, because you can learn this money stuff. It's not as overwhelming, complicated, and confusing as everyone makes it out to be. So it's important, I think, second bucket, or maybe near the top and in the first bucket, is finding the right person to work with. So when
Mm.
you've got tons and tons of questions, and hey, well, let's face it, when we don't know and we're like stuck in fear and you're feeling dumb, that's tough. It's a tough place to be. But you can find someone to work with who is like, hey, any questions? Great. Let's do this. You're going to learn one step at a time, figure it out. I figured it out. I'm sure you had to figure it out, Sunny. Well, I know you did at one point. We all go through this. It's nothing new, and it doesn't matter whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. Makes no difference. You can figure it out right now. So
Mhm.
I would say bucket two is finding the right person to work with. And
Yeah.
then, the small goal of figuring out how to make it through the next 3 to 6 months, that's not just a small goal, that's a massive goal. And that's something that you should be going, hey, I did it. I did it. That's a huge accomplishment. So, I mean, those are two real important things. Let's get back to the mindset for a sec. Regardless of the amount of money that you are earning yourself or with your spouse, we seem to have this mindset of when it comes to money, denial or fear, or like just block it out, or oh, I'll deal with it tomorrow. Why why is that, and how can we get excited about learning about money and saying, yes, I can do this. I've got this covered. And then that's another piece of the pie that creates the freedom in life that we're all striving for. To have your finances in order and become financially independent and to understand your money is is a massive success in your life. So, what do you recommend as, let's call that the third bucket, is the money mindset bucket? What should
Mhm.
people be considering there?
I do find those who aren't looking at their finances, it's just there's a lack of resources. And then if you do, heaven forbid, try to dig in on your own and you try to Google how to fix up my finances, everything's going to make you feel bad about what you've been doing or not doing or have done. So it's just laced in guilt. You need to pay off your debt and do nothing else right now. And you should feel bad about having any debt, or you should feel bad about not getting. And oh, you really? So then that scares people away because it becomes this giant undertaking. So having the right resources, which I think is going to circle you back to the second bucket, are the right people. I did a teen financial literacy course at a high school, and then it really took off. Now I have them in the office, and a mom sat in, and she's a single mom. And she says, if I get some moms together who are divorced, can we come to this course? Because it's just financial literacy 101, real basic stuff, launching these kids out into the world. And she thought, I need this. I thought, oh my goodness, there's a real need here. And I've been working with this mom for a while too. We meet almost monthly for 1 hour. And at the end of our 1 hour session, she always feels lighter, less heavy, has a plan, and then off she goes. And then we meet again the next month. And I kind of just, it's okay. This is what you're going to do for the next month. And we take it in smaller pieces, not these huge waves of you need to pay off all this debt right now. And it gets way too overwhelming. You feel way too shameful about things. And we need a lot more positivity wrapped up in this.
Yeah, for sure. So positivity, that's huge. So when it comes to mindset, what I'm hearing you say is be compassionate with yourself, one step at a time. It doesn't have to be this huge undertaking. You can take massive action if you want. We're all different. Some people like to go all in, real hard, real crazy for a month or two. You can do that, but do what works for you. And then working with someone who is the expert, who you just feel completely comfortable with. You can ask them any old question, nothing silly, nothing. If you don't know, you don't know. You need to find out. So you ask. I mean, not asking is dumb. So ask the question, work with the right person, and yeah, that's really cool about your about the moms group, because you're the expert in money. So you might consider this, basic 101, but for someone who just has never done it before, it is new information, it's important information, and it is the foundation of money that we can then build on. And from everything that I know, and it's not everything, believe me, but from everything that I know, you start with the base when it comes to money, and then you can, oh, maybe make this investment, or maybe do that, or maybe do that, but you learn one step at a time. Is that right? Like, is that how people should learn? One
Mhm.
step at a time when it comes to money. You have to learn the foundation first.
100%. I don't move forward with any fancy planning until I'm confident that they get it and everything's working okay and they understand how to use finances in the first place. then we can move forward with fancier stuff. But that is not where you start. Because sometimes, you see the commercials and they're 10 steps ahead of where some households are.
Hmm.
Like, no, this is not where you're not going to start learning like investment products right now. You need to just make sure you can save in the first place. We're going to just start with that. And then we
Hmm.
can move forward with talking about some investment products. Yeah.
So there, just like any other learning, there's a system, there's a way, there's a step-by-step process. And then when it comes to your money mindset, if you are open to learning, if you have a positive attitude and you can ask questions and you're willing to interview money experts, find the right person to work with, then, the world's your oyster. You can begin and grow your money and work towards your own financial independence.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that you see when you're working with women, especially who are transitioning through divorce, like tips that you could offer them, things that you could offer them, ways to get started? What do you think is most important when it comes to her mindset?
I think you hit the nail on the head is be compassionate. Don't beat yourself up. That is step one. It's so hard to see how hard these women are on themselves at this time. And I find it so heartbreaking. And I sit there and I do my motivational, like from a financial professional, this is just gonna happen. Let's go.
Yeah.
Move forward. And it's hard to see how hard they are on themselves. And not that I'm not guilty of that myself, but I want to help lift them up because that's really going to make everything else fall into place if we can move forward from all that guilt and shame and everything wrapped up in the transition phase.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that that's it. So be compassionate with yourself. Choose a positive attitude. Choose happiness, joy, learning, and optimism in your life. And you can do this. Yeah, that's it. You can do this. You've all got this, gals. Okay, Sunny, we're out for now. It was great chatting with you, and we will see you again next week.